Hey y'all. Good morning. Um Happy morning to you. Hopefully you have a happy day today. I didn't get much sleep last night because of the situation that my people are going through. And I'm going to keep talking about it. Um I don't hate white people. I don't hate anybody. But my people have been going through so much injustice in America, and it just keeps getting swept underneath the rug. It just keeps getting excused away. And some white people may say, well, what is the problem? They got the Civil Rights Act done and in the 60s, and they could vote, and they're here in the greatest country in the world. What else do they want? And that mentality is very ignorant, seeing that a police officer, a man in authority who is supposed to be protecting the community, and even if you apprehend someone, you're supposed to be still respectful of them and not destructive. An officer with authority bores his knee into a black man's neck. And I say a black man because this is the problem. You don't see this happening with white people if they get apprehended or arrested or whatever. You don't see it happening with white people. You don't see this happening in Europe. That's a whole nother thing about what I feel about people carrying around guns and citizens having guns. And the beginning of this country, I understand they were trying to break away from England, and they had to protect themselves and stuff, but it's gotten out of hand. You got Trayvon Martin, who was just walking down the street, and because he looked a certain way to George Zimmerman, first the color of his skin, and then, oh, he's got on a hoodie, he must be a thug. That is so freaking ignorant. It's just ignorant. And he got killed over that. And George Zimmerman was not a police officer. He was just a regular citizen that had a gun, permit for a gun and all. You don't see this in Europe. And I'm not saying that they don't have racist problems in Europe, but it is not a prevalent problem of black people dying at the hands of police officers and vigilante citizens. In the case of Ahmaud Arbery, my people are hurting. This is not no power to the people, Black Panther type of thing. Black Panther does his own thing. I'm talking about just simple respect. Treat us the same way that you treat yourself. White supremacy is not disliking the person just because they got dark skin. White supremacy is saying we are the superior race. We rule the world. We are better than other people. Other people don't deserve, and it's not just black people too. It's all people of color. They say, we deserve to have this mindset because we're the superior race. And I'm not saying that every white person is a white supremacist. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that every white person is a racist. Of course not. But what I'm saying is that the underlying mindset in this country of white people, some of them have this mindset. And it was in your face, but it was subtle at times before Trump became president. I try not to say anything about him because I really pray for his repentance. But God is going to judge if he keeps doing these things like he did yesterday. And there was white people in that crowd that they tear gassed too. So it wasn't just black people. But I guess white supremacists just throw the, as you would say, abolitionists. Go look that word up if you don't know what it means. The abolitionists of our day that help us. I guess they're thrown into the pot too with us. Hey, Melba. Something has to change in this country, and it's going to take love. Like the Bible says, like Martin Luther King Jr. said, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that you cannot get rid of hate with hate. I'm speaking to my people now. Stop the looting and the stealing. It's not right. It's a crime. It's not helpful. And it's not productive. It's being just what they say that we are. And I say they, those that have a racist mindset. I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about those that have a racist mindset. When I put up something on Facebook, it's regarding two kind of white people. White people that are racist in their heart and they're white supremacists. And then the other side of the white people who are oblivious to what we experience now in this country. I'm not even talking about slavery or Jim Crow. And there are some white people that don't even know what Jim Crow is. We don't bother to learn about each other in America with our cultures. We want to stay in our bubbles. It's comfortable to stay in your bubble. It's comfortable to say, you know what, oh, well, I feel so bad for them, And yeah, you may feel bad for us, but there's a way that you can help us. I just put and posted something, 75 ways that white people can help stop racism. When you amongst your friends, people of your ethnicity, and they're talking about black people or saying something off color about us or whatever, you say, hey, no, man, don't talk about them like that. They people too. They need to be respected too. This is where it starts. Racism starts in the home. Racism starts at the kitchen table where the little white girl she's 5 years old and she's in kindergarten and she has found a new little friend and she's black. And she comes home and says, I got a new friend, Mommy. And she says, her name is Lakeisha. And Lakeisha? Look, honey, we try to stay with our own kind. And, it's best if you, you can be nice to her, but don't. And same thing with black people. But we do it, I think, more of, I can't speak for people's hearts and motives because only God can judge that. But black people, we do it as a protective stance. Be careful. I know that they, they a nice white girl, a nice white boy, or be careful, or maybe it is from a racist stay away from them, all of the stuff. So racism on both sides is wrong. But people that are in authority, such as the police officers and President Trump, you're supposed to speak up for people that have no voice. But see, if you're not concerned about people of other cultures, if you're not learning and want to embrace other cultures, and you think that you're superior, those white people that do think they're superior, I'm not saying all white people believe that. And then you have white people that get it, that understand it, and that do help to fight. I'm sorry, it's not 2 sections, it's 3. A white supremacist mindset, an ignorant mindset where you don't want to see what's really going on in this nation. You think everything is normal. It's normal for him to put his knee on his neck. He's a police officer. He knows what he's doing. He's been trained. Don't you know that? You don't see this stuff. Hey, cuz. You don't see this stuff happening in Europe. Not prevalent, at least. We have been suffering in this country for over 400 years. We were brought here as slaves. Millions of us died on the way getting here. And then when we got here, we were abused. And I know that some of the African chiefs and some of the African people helped to give us away and sell us. I understand that. But that's not the point. We were taken and we were abused in this country. We were raped. We built America. Just get that straight. The foundational in the beginning, that was from our sweat, our blood, our semen. And yeah, we're angry. I'm not for the looting and all of that. I'm talking about the peaceful protesting. I'm for that. But there's this concept that, well, what are they making a big deal about? Oh, why are they rioting? Oh my God, they're always messing up something. You got people that busted into a state house. I don't know if it was Minnesota, Michigan. I don't know. It was somewhere in the Midwest. And they were armed with guns. And they was yelling and screaming at the police in their face, spitting in their face, talking about Hail Hitler. I posted it. If you want to look it up, you can look it up on YouTube. Now, if that would have been black people that busted in a state house with guns, we would have been dead or abused, like I put in the post. Yeah, we angry. We have a right to be angry. That man put his freaking knee on that man's neck and killed him. He stayed on the man's neck. Like I say, think about, what if that was your husband? Now, you're a white person now. This is, I'm asking you to think. Or you're, I would say Hispanic, but you got black Hispanic, and that's a whole nother thing. People that come from some of the Spanish countries are black with a Spanish culture. You are a black person with a Spanish culture, Melba. I love you, my friend. You have a Spanish culture. I have an American culture in the sense of the difference of our cultures. You know what I'm saying? But you're a black woman, Melba. Chevalier, you are a black Southern woman. You live down there where we suffer greatly We suffered in the North too, we were slaves. And like I said, we are still suffering. But getting back to it, if you were a white person, imagine your husband having somebody's knee on top of his neck, whether they black or white, and he's just holding his knee on your neck while your husband is begging for his life. They had already handcuffed George Floyd. Why didn't they just put him in the patrol car and take him to the station and book him and whatever they do down there? And I say whatever they do down there because they do more. Sometimes they do more than just book you. They abuse some of the people when they bring them down there. I'm not saying all white people are racist. And I'm not saying that there are not some white people that truly care about the situation. I think I posted some white brethren that reached out to some black brethren down in the 3rd Ward in Louisiana. And they got down on their knees all together and was crying and asking forgiveness of one another. And the white people said, we as a race have done your people wrong. All I'm saying is acknowledge what is wrong and fight against it. And I'm not talking about physically fight. I'm talking about fighting things with love. I love white people. I don't hate white people. I don't hate my own people. We, black people, we need to learn to love ourselves. We let them label us black on black crime, and we need to get it together too. We need to love ourselves. Stop the looting. Stop the fighting with one another. Use that energy to be the great people that we are. And I'm not saying also we could take over and no, so that we could be in line and equal with white folk. There are criminals in every race. And I hate saying race because that was made up. Ethnicity is what it is. And this is something I want to say too. Now I'm going to speak to different ethnicities within white culture. Now, when America was coming up, and different ethnicities, Irish, Italian, different ones was coming over here from their homeland to find a better life, to get that American dream. Okay? We'll discuss the American dream in a little bit. What is that dream? Because for some white people, it's a white America. That's the dream that they want. And they'll tell you that too. You see the videos. They'll tell you that too. Make America great again. Now, I'm going to say it. I've been waiting to say this. I appreciate being in America because we have certain freedoms, and I praise God for that. But America was never great the way that they say, make America great again. It was never great to the potential that it could have been because it owned people. People were cattle. And they even, in the very beginning too, they even indentured some white people. They made some white people slaves. So, but what I'm saying is the abuse of the black person in this country is astronomical. Getting back to people coming through Ellis Island. Okay. Hey, cuz. Hey, LaDonna. They got over here. We're going to make a greater life in America. Italians would say. And I'm not mocking them. I'm speaking as they speak. So don't nobody say that I'm mocking them. They have a beautiful accent, and it's who they are. We're going to make a greater life in America. Come on, mama, we're going to go. And you had the Irish. I can't do a good Irish accent, but they have a wonderful accent too. We're going to go to America and get a better life. The Jews that came, the Jews. They are the ones that can identify with us the most. Because of the pain that they have been through as a people, because of their freaking identity. This is all about identity. Who we are. People that don't like us because of who we are, and they think that they're better than us because of who they think they are. We are all God's creation. We're all made in the image of God. Trump is not better than me because he's a white man and because he's a billionaire and because he's president. No. I'm equal to him. I'm equal to him. Because I'm made in the image of God. And you know what? He's made in the image of God too, but he doesn't see that because he's made a false image for himself. Insecure people do that. Getting back to the Ellis Island. So they came over here with a dream in their heart. They thought they could be like the people that was already here. And I say that because some of the white people that was already here, whether they were English, they would put a sign on their door. I don't know if any of you remember this. In their businesses that said, for work, if somebody was looking for employment, Irish need not apply. Y'all know what that means? Irish people, don't even bother applying because we don't want you here. We don't want you working with us. We think you're beneath us. We'll take your money if you want to come in here and buy something. But to try to come and work here? Nah. Same with the Italians. Italians need not apply. I hate when people say when somebody has an accent, and Americans usually do this. I can't understand them. Why don't they talk normal? They are normal. They are who they are. Everybody is not like you. God made everybody different. And even within our own ethnicities, we are different. We are individuals that should be respected. I may not agree with all of President Obama or Governor Cuomo's policies. I don't agree with abortion. And I don't agree with the lifestyle of homosexuality. But I'm not going to sit up here and hate homosexual people because they want to be with the same gender. That's their business. I'm not here to judge them. I'm here to love them. I'm here to show them Christ. And not because, I'm a Christian. I got to show them Christ because they doing wrong. No, I'm here to love them as God's image bearer. We just got to get the image restored in us as we accept Christ as individuals into our life and accept Jesus into our heart. Then the image of Christ can surface. And I'm talking about love, joy, peace, patience, justice. I'm talking about that. I'm not talking about Republican or Democrat. Some people are Republican or Democrat before they're a Christian. And they will fight you to the ground for their policies and their politics. Meanwhile, I'm a Christian. Like he held up that Bible yesterday and didn't even know what to do with it. Was looking at like, what the, what? At first, like, what do I do with this? How do I hold this? He was holding it upside down. And the bishop of that church, I think the church's name is St. John's, and presidents have been coming in for years to pray. And it is a church that fights against social injustice. And he goes there, Trump goes there, and lifting up the Bible like you're doing something. Now, I'm going to speak to something right now. I've been following God for over 30 years. This man thinks he's God. He was standing up there. Somebody said it on the news the other night. Standing up there holding that Bible like he was a demigod. That means a little God. When you have a superior attitude like that, you do think you're a God. I don't care what you say. And I don't care what some of my other brethren say neither. You're not the one that when you're driving, you have to be careful that if you get stopped by the police that you don't die that day. And specifically, they target black men. My father has been stopped out here on Long Island for driving a nice car. And he was polite with the officer. He said, "Officer, I'm a hardworking man." Or if you're in a certain neighborhood, what are you doing in this neighborhood? Yeah. One of my relatives said, This is their America, Laurel. This is their stuff. Talking about white people. This is their land. You didn't make this land for us, black people and people of color. You didn't make it for us when you started this nation. And don't say that you did. The Constitution was written for white men. It was not even written for women. That's a whole nother thing. It's just like America is great because of the freedom that God has blessed her with and the knowledge on how to help people. But yet you take that knowledge and bury it. And you put your knee on people's necks. Now, this is not all white people. I have to say this throughout what I'm saying. It's not all white people. I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about white people that have a racist heart and a superior attitude. And sometimes it's very subtle out here on Long Island. I hate when people say, "Oh, I have black friends." So what? That don't mean nothing. You know why? Because you sit up there with your white friends and listen to the off-color jokes and racial jokes and you tell your kids to stay cared about. Oh, this is the main one. I don't want you dating no black person. And you got Spanish people that do that too. I don't want you dating no black person. And why not? Now, I'm not talking about preference. You know, if somebody has a preference. Oh, I really like the way the men of the Italian culture are. You know, they're real sweet and suave and whatever. I'm talking about when you target a race or ethnicity, because we all one human race, we one blood. I'll say we one blood because people, whoever made this race thing up, they, what's the word? What am I trying to say? I lost my thought. That people, don't marry. I don't want you marrying, and you got it. Sometimes you got it even within white ethnicity. Some Italian don't want you to marry Irish. Some Jewish people don't want you to marry Russian. I'm just giving examples, And you're teaching your children this. This is how racism starts. It starts at the kitchen table. It's just, the signs were up there. Irish need not apply. Remember, I'm asking my white friends and brothers and sisters in the church. Remember when Your grandmother told you when she came over here that she was discriminated against because she was from Italy. Remember how they try to associate you with the mafia because you were Italian, and they automatically thought, oh, they got something to do with the mafia. It's ignorance and prejudice. And black people do it too. We're guilty too. We need to stop. We need to analyze and say, what do I think about this culture, these people? And I'm not saying these people. I'm saying, what do I think about this certain group of people? Every black person is not a criminal, and every white person is not a racist. But if we know who we are, that we are created by God, and once we come to Christ and we receive Christ into our heart, that is supposed to open up so much knowledge as to who we really are. It's about identity. Racism is about identity. You're attacking someone's identity. You're attacking their ability to do something. You're saying that they do not deserve, white supremacists say, and you can hear them saying it, they do not deserve the same privileges as us, the same rights as us. They do not deserve it because they're black and they're an inferior race. And this evolution crap, it really messed us up. It really did. Because it put people into categories, and it put people into certain class systems. And like I was saying, the beginning of this country, when America was founded, Thomas Jefferson and them, they didn't make this for black people. You know why? Because they said that we were 3/5 of a man. Do you know what that's saying? Do you really know what that's saying? Hey, Muni, do you really know what that's saying? And it's not just black people. I had an beautiful Indian woman that just came on, my friend Muni. It's not just black people that experience racism for the color of their skin. It's all types of people of color that are hurting. But when they built this country, they did not have us in mind, because they did not consider us equal to them. They didn't even consider women equal to them. The Constitution was not written for black people. The Constitution was not written for Indian people. The Constitution was written for white men. And I'm going to say it again. Not all white people are racist. Not all black people are racist or criminal. You got criminals in every race. The Constitution was written for people that were establishing a nation for themselves. They'll tell you, the white supremacists will tell you, look it up on YouTube. I'm not making this up. They made this for them. But we're here. They brought us here. And then other people were able to come. Immigrants were able to come. Immigrants are beautiful people. And God says in his word that we're supposed to protect the immigrant. Now I'm speaking to my Spanish people. Y'all should be in on this fight too with us. And we in it on with you with the immigration. That man had people in cages. Trump had them in concentration camps. Yes, they were. Because you were concentrating them into a certain section. You put them in cages. You said that they were all criminals. This is the mentality of a white supremacist. This is a mentality of a person that doesn't care about other cultures and other people, doesn't want to embrace, doesn't want to understand. We're supposed to try to understand one another. We're supposed to embrace one another. My people are suffering and we're dying in this country. And it's business as usual for some people. And Christians, where are your minds at? You lifting up this man like he's some kind of God. And yeah, I talk about Obama a lot because he was the first black president, and I'm proud of that. I'm not proud of all his policies because I don't agree with abortion and homosexual lifestyle. I don't hate a homosexual, but I don't agree with the lifestyle. But if that's what they want to do, I'd leave them alone and just love them. I tell them the love of Jesus and let Jesus show them whatever they need to see. And that's with everybody. Christians, they got their minds in some of us got our minds in another place. And I'm going to say this. I don't see how any black person could be for Trump. He's not for our people. Get it through your head. He is for himself. He's not even for America. He is for himself. He is not for anybody else but himself. And God is going to reveal this. This pandemic and this racial injustice is revealing what's in the hearts of men. God is drawing us unto himself for us to know who Jesus Christ is. That's your true identity. Once you find Christ, that's everything. Like I said, we're made in the image of God. He made us in his image. We're image bearers. But we can't bear the image if he's not living on the inside of us. See, he wanted to hold up that Bible yesterday like it was gold or something. But that Bible is not in your heart. And the reason I can say that is because Jesus said, look at the life. I'm not saying one or two things in the life. What predominates the life? That's how you know somebody knows God. Not by what they say, but what protrudes from their heart. God is going to deal with all of these things in this nation. I'm not saying he caused the pandemic, but he sure enough allowed it. And sometimes he allows things. Sin is in this world anyway, from when Adam and Eve sinned in the beginning. Okay? That's a whole nother thing. And the relationship was broken. I'm sitting out in my backyard, so you know me, I'm looking around. I have to look to the front. I heard a noise. But it's just painful. It's just painful. I don't see how any black person. I have one relative that's for Trump, and it's like, why when you a black man? In the sense of, if you get pulled over, what's going to happen? I'm telling y'all, this, like Governor Cuomo said yesterday, oh my God, I could kiss that man right on the cheek and thank him. He said what I've been waiting for one white person to say in all of this 400 years that we have been in the United States of America, the good old USA, and all the other little cliches that people want to say. He said it. He said it started before that we was even a nation. It's just crazy. It really is crazy. For people to just think it's business as usual. And then you look at it and it's when the officer crushed George Floyd's neck with his knee, you look at it, oh my God, that's so terrible. But what are you going to do about it? I don't know. I'm not hopeless because I believe in God and I believe he's going to change things. But the crimes of this nation, what they have done to their own people, you talking about bringing the military out against your own citizens who are doing peaceful protests. Them people was peacefully protesting yesterday when he had that tear gas put on them for him to go take that doggone picture. As he's speaking, they did a split screen. As he's speaking, Those officers was forcefully moving those people out of the way. And then they set off the tear gas. Oh my God. And you're wondering why we upset. Well, they can vote now, and they can live anywhere they want to live. Sure. If I try to live a certain part of here in Long Island, I got a friend that lives in one of the villages, very prestigious. And they have experienced racism because of the color of their skin. You're not supposed to be living here. What are you doing here? This is our neighborhood. Yeah, this is your land because that's what you started. That's how you started it. And they want to say, oh, Thomas Jefferson and them, they were men of God, and they. I'm speechless. I'm like, really, it's just. We can't do this alone to get racial justice in this country. We need the help of our white brothers and sisters. And I call them brothers and sisters because we're all made in the image of God. And we are created by God. We need the help of other people. And I say white people because that's who the problem mainly is with, the mindset. And then you got people in authority like that officer that did that, and then many other things. I remember Abner Louima several years ago. You took a plunger and you rammed it up his behind. I'm sorry I'm being graphic, yo. Hey, Susan, I appreciate you watching, my sister. And rammed it up his behind like it was a game. You know how many unmarked graves is in this country with my people's blood and bones? You know how many times they dragged, I forget the young lady's name who they busted in her house and killed her, shot her 8 times. You know how many times back in the Jim Crow days when it was law to kill us? How many times did they busted in people's houses and would drag them out and string them up on a string and put them up on a horse and hit the horses behind and lynch them and hang them? You have a town in Virginia called Lynchburg. Hey, Anna, thanks for watching. We hurting. And people don't care. People want to go on as usual. It's not right, it's wrong. It's wrong what's happening. And we, as black people, we tired. And we angry. I'm not for the looting. The looting is wrong. The stealing is wrong. And breaking people's property is wrong. It's a crime. And they should be incarcerated for that or fined or whatever they do when people do that. That's not the real protesting. The real protesting is the peaceful stuff. Like what Martin Luther King and them did. Like what Dr. King did. He died for the cause. He died for us. In the sense of so that we could get some kind of justice. And Jesus died too. Jesus died for our freedom. All freedom. Freedom from sin. We need love in our hearts. Black people, white people, all kinds of people. We need love in our hearts to know how to love one another. We need to love one another. That's the key. But if you think you have a certain mindset and you want to be Republican or Democrat more than you want to be a Christian, and stop talking to people because they don't see the same views you see, I say what it is. And from what Trump did yesterday, God is going to deal with him for that. He's going to deal with him for all of these things and making fun of handicapped people. But yet you stand behind this man. I'm not talking about one or two isolated things. I'm talking about everything basically that the man says. A lot of things that he does. Certain things I just can't stand for it. But yet, God set him up. God may have allowed him to be president, but it's not because he's a godly man. As he set up Pharaoh, what did he say to Pharaoh? He said, I set you up so I could show my glory. Because he knew Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh had a hard heart. And God said, you know what? I could show who I am through your hardness. That's why he's president. He's not president because he's a godly person. Where was the prayers when Obama was president and different ones was president? You got different mainstream pastors laying hands on this man and praying for him. And I'm not saying you can't pray for somebody. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is do it for everybody. But like he's some wounded bird or something. That God is revealing the hearts of men through this pandemic and through this racial injustice. And he's trying to bring people to himself. He's trying to bring people to himself. So it's just, we need to come together. It's not about black power and it's not about white power. It's about love. It's about humanity. And it's about God and how he created us. We're image bearers, y'all. But you got to get Christ in your heart to bear that image. And we have to see how we can help one another. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, a riot is for the unheard. Or maybe I'm not quoting it right. I'll put it up later. But something got to change, y'all. We got to come together. We got to love each other. And we got to stop the white supremacy. We got to stop the white supremacy ideas and philosophies and all of that. Do you realize that this country had a war over us? It's called a civil war. Wave the American flag all you want. That's a great thing. I don't have anything against that. It's when you put up that freaking Confederate flag is when I have a problem with you. That Confederate flag stands for slavery. People wanted to not give us up as slaves. They did not want to set us free. They wanted to hold on to us because we were their economy. The God in this country that people worship, the number one God is economy. Oh, we got to get the economy back going again. Forget about lives. Forget about, got people standing up. I need to get a haircut. And then you got some of my people, oh, I need to get my nails done. What is that? You care about that more than you care about lives? What's wrong with wearing a mask? Like I said before, you screaming about freedom. My freedom is being taken away. Well, if you're not safe, you're not going to have no freedom because you're going to be dead. Because you'll be more susceptible to getting the virus. People they have such silly mentalities. Fight some real causes. Talk about real injustice. Like that man putting his knee on George Floyd's neck. He's saying, I can't breathe. Eric Garner, I can't breathe. People holding their hands up and they still getting shot. I'm proud to be a Christian black woman. I'm proud of the ethnicity that I come from. We are strong people. But we're not here to be stronger than other people. We're here to be strong with everyone else. White supremacy says we're stronger than you. And we're going to dominate, as he said yesterday. Dominate the streets. Show them who's boss. Well, God is over you, Mr. Trump. And God has a particular way of doing things. You take that Bible and you open it, you see what he did with kings that were corrupt. You see what he did with people that shunned his mercy. God is a merciful God. But after a while, he's like, you're not repenting like I need you to do. And you hurting these people over here. And I need you to stop. And you're not stopping. So I got to stop you. God is God, Jehovah, Jesus Christ, the Holy Ghost, the Trinity. He is a mystery. But he's watching and he is involved. And he will do something about this. He will. I remember when I was in my abusive relationship and my father said to me, if you let him keep doing this, you got to stand up for yourself. He said in his Brooklyn, New York accent. Yeah, New York tough, all right. You got to stand up for yourself. I never forgot that. Black people, my people, and people of color. I'm talking about all people of color now. Brown, black, mocha, chocolate. We got to stand up for ourselves peacefully and lovingly. Peacefully and lovingly. Y'all have a good day. I love y'all. I'm sorry it was so long, but I love y'all and thanks for watching. And let us love one another, y'all. Embrace this brown skin right here. Embrace this. I'm your brother. I'm your sister. I'm a fellow human being. Life is precious. That breath was precious for George Floyd, and he was begging for it. And that man just bore his knee into him even the harder. I pray for that man's repentance, that officer's repentance. But he still needs to pay for what he did through the legal system of being incarcerated. The prison system, I'm not even going to get into today. That's a whole nother video. I'm going to try to get on every day. This is my birthday month. God bless y'all. Love yourselves and love other people. Life is precious. We have lost different people to this COVID-19. This thing should be making us to band together. And it's dividing us, red and blue states. Who cares about that? Who cares about your Republican views and your Democratic views? Who cares about that when people are dying? Earth, God, and country. It's God for me. Because country has failed me. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate the freedoms that I have in the United States of America. But it's not united. They gave it the wrong name. I don't know if it'll ever be united. Because there's some people that's not going to change the way that they think. And if you don't change your mindset and you stay in the same mindset, things can't be the way they should. Have a good day, y'all. I love y'all. I know that I am speaking, very upfront, and some people may think it's harsh or whatever. If you want to unfriend me, that's you. That means you was never my friend from the beginning. You should be championing with me, saying, you know what, we need to do something against this. Colin, the football young man, knelt when the Pledge of Allegiance was going on. How can you pledge allegiance to a country that's killing you? Now, I don't want anything bad to happen to America, and don't go there. What I'm saying is I want justice for all people in this place. He knelt down. He didn't put up his middle finger. He didn't say, F you, America. He didn't do anything disrespectful. He knelt on his knee. That's kneeling, not kneeling on somebody's neck, but kneeling in general is a sign of humility. The boy knelt down saying, you know what? I can't put my hand on my heart because you don't care about my heart. You don't care about the color of my skin. And you want to yell at him and get mad at him. And well, to each his own. You have your own opinion. But it shouldn't be because of somebody's color of their skin, though. I got to get off of here. Y'all enjoy y'all's day. I love y'all. And just remember that I'm just like you. Let us see what we could do to change this situation, to bring harmony between our races, our ethnicities. God bless you guys. I love you. Have a good day.